Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Well-Appointed Desk. Today I am doing another My Favorite Pens series about Sailor Pro Gear Slims, also known as the Sapporo or the Professional Gear and the Slim model. As you can tell from this image, I really like the Sailor Pro Gear pen. It has become basically my everyday go-to pen, and the reason that I have so many is I like the colors. There's really no other excuse for my behavior, and to be honest, all but I think 2 of these have the exact same nib. I will talk about these 2 at the end because they're a little bit different, and so thought I would share those for later. So I'm going to start on the left hand side and go across and talk about these following my video that I did about my Kaweco, or Kaweco as I like to say, but I know it's Kaweco, pen collection where I did not describe or did not give the color details because I didn't even think about it. It just didn't occur to me that anyone would care that much. This time I went through and did my homework so that I have a little list here of all the official names, and I can give you some rough information about availability and access to these. Many of these are several years old, so I will start by saying most of these are no longer available. Sailor releases dozens of variations on the Pro Gear and the Pro Gear Slim every year, and they do collaborations with various Japanese vendors. There's always a North American exclusive, there's a Japan exclusive, just a lot of different options. So my advice to you is, if you are looking to collect or are interested in a Sailor Pro Gear Slim or standard size Pro Gear, to just keep your eye out until a color combination comes available that is to your liking, because they do different variations all the time. So just to clarify, these are the Pro Gear Slims. The biggest difference is they are about a quarter of an inch smaller than the full-sized Pro Gear. There's really very minimal size difference between the Pro Gear Slim and the Pro Gear. Most people would consider both to be small, on the small side for fountain pens. Unfortunately, I do not have a Pro Gear to do a comparison, but the other big difference between the Pro Gear and the Pro Gear Slim is that the Pro Gear has a 14 karat gold nib, and the full-size Pro Gear has 21. So the Slims are 14, the full-size are 21 karat nibs. So that is really the biggest difference. And if you have ever written with either of them, this is one case where, specifically with the Sailor brand, it is gold nib or don't bother as far as I'm concerned. No shade to anybody who really likes the Tuzu, which is the latest steel nib option, and some of the other sort of, I think it's the Ecole, which is like their school pen, which has a steel nib. They're fine nibs, but when you compare them with a Pro Gear, like a 14 karat or 21 karat gold nib, there's just no comparison. So with Sailor, it's the one where I really do recommend, one, getting an opportunity to try them in person if you can go into a store that carries Sailor, or you can make it to a pen show where someone would have these available for you to try. I really do recommend, because they are very divisive in terms of how they feel on paper. If you are someone who loves the feel of pencil on paper, and you like a little bit of what some people call feedback or friction, or a little, what's a good word for it? Like, you can, it's not glassy when you write with a Pro Gear. you can definitely feel, particularly with the extra fine and the fine nibs, there is definitely some resistance is the word I'm looking for as you're writing. So if that is helpful to you, and I find that is very helpful for me to have a little bit of that feedback and resistance when I'm writing, so that I don't write too fast. I don't get ahead of myself when I'm writing. That really makes a huge difference for me. So anyway, you have been staring at these long enough. Let's start talking about these. So the first up is this one here on the end. I bought this from a friend at a pen show. It is 2 shades of pink with olive green caps on the end. I don't know if I'll get this to focus. I apologize. This just has the standard end cap, which is the anchor. And then on the inside, there is a 3rd shade of pink. So we have 3 shades of pink. A light, a medium, and a dark. And then it has all silver hardware. This is the one pen that I could not find what it is called. There are tiny printed Japanese characters here that I'm assuming may say what model this is or whatever, but I could not get any information, and I could not use like Google Translate because I could not get it to pick up this like very pale color on the pink. But what it does say below that is 62 of 88. So this was a limited edition that I bought from a friend who was paring down their collection, and we took one look at it and said, a pink and a green pen, yes, it's perfect for me. So that is the story behind that one. This was my first ever Sailor Pro Gear. It is a pink love. There are many, many stories around the internet about how one year at the Atlanta Pen Show, when these became available, Brad from Pen Addict went crazy for them, and see if I can get that to focus. Can you see that? So Brad went crazy for these and bought one, and I immediately, when I saw it, I immediately went home, because it is a dark pink with a glitter. But there were, I lucked out. I found someone who was on the Pen Addict Slack who decided he did not want this, so I was able to get it at a fairly reasonable secondhand price. But this was the first time that Bungbox did the pink love. They later called it the First Love, and I think they changed the end cap design from this like sort of 4-leaf clover to I think it's a heart shape now. But I think they kept most of the other details. On the band around here, it says, "I wish you a lot of happiness." And this is probably the only one I have where that text is changed from either saying Sailor or the brand name. This is also the only one I have that has ruthenium hardware. And it's also the only one I have that has a music nib. So let me see if I can get that to focus. So this is the music nib. Let's see. We'll try again. So yeah, so it is definitely a wider nib than what I'm normally used to. Most of mine are hard fines, and they will be labeled. Most of them are labeled on the side here, and there's engraved. This one says MS for music. That's usually the quickest way to tell, although with a music nib it's pretty easy to tell. But yeah, so that was my very first. So the next up is this one, which is from the Line Friends collection that was done, I think, last year before. And you can see the end cap here. And there we go. We have this little cute little dude. And this one is also the first one that I have that has a design on the nib. So it is etched with a little bunny head, and just freaking adorable. That's all I got to say. So, yeah, so this was from the Line Friends series. This one is Coney, is what the bunny is called. And these are still available. I think I saw them listed on Goldspot and maybe a couple of other sites, but you can still find this one. It is it's a little over $300. But yes, not cheap. I got this for my birthday a year or so ago. So next up is one that I could not resist because of this amazing snowflake design. It's white, like not entirely translucent, it's like semi-translucent, white with silver glitter, and then these translucent blue end caps. There's even a snowflake on the end here. Yeah. So just really, really beautiful. And this artwork does have metallic silver in it, so it's extra fancy. And then we have that same translucent blue with glitter here. And this nib is also engraved with a snowflake instead of the Sailor logo. So could not resist. And because I like to coordinate my pens with my planner theme each month, December and January, I love to get this one out. And it's sort of the pen that I use for that month. I know it's dumb, but I really enjoy it. So next up is a new one, new to me anyway. This is the Manio series, and this is the Dianthus. They did a whole series that were based on flowers. And the Manio series of ProGear Slims come with a full-size bottle of the most matching of Manio ink. So it sort of comes as a kit. So they tend to run a little bit more expensive because you're basically getting like a $20-ish bottle of ink as well as the pen. So this one does also have a little flower design on the end. The end caps on this one are gray, like a translucent gray, and then the body is just this lovely lavender color. And then there is nothing particularly special about the nib. The grip section does match the end caps. Yeah, so this is just your standard Sailor nib. So it says, this one just has the anchor. Some of them, they've changed the engraving on these over time. This one just has the anchor. Previously, they have said, I think, 1911 on them. Maybe not. We'll just keep looking. So the next one is, this is called Follow the Mermaid. This one just has your standard Sailor anchor, but seeing it as how it's the mermaid one, I think that's totally fine. This has the semi-translucent purple with glitter, turquoise, and then white end caps. And this one has a two-tone nib, so it's gold and silver. And they're all gold nibs. They're just finished to look silver to match the hardware. So this one is another one that I purchased from a friend at a pen show. It is very, I say it's very old. It is, I cannot find any other, at one point in time I was able to find an example like on eBay or something like that. This is called the Purple Lamé. This came out several years before the Purple Cosmos, so it has really fine glitter in it. It's not a solid, there's just real fine glitter in it. The whole thing is the same shade of purple. And in this case, mine has a gold nib, which does not match because it got a special custom grind nib. So it started off as a hard fine and now it's an extra fine. So that is the only difference here. The nib got swapped out. It's awfully hard to do. Sailor does not make their nibs available for secondhand purchase. So you can't just buy a new nib should something happen to your pen. So oftentimes if a pen is irreparably damaged or something, someone will sell the nib out of it if it's just like the damage is just to the barrel or the cap or something like that. But yeah, so it's pretty rare to find replacement nibs for Sailor. So this is probably, it's really close as to which one is my favorite, but this is probably real close. It is black with multicolor iridescent glitter. It is known as the Starburst Galaxy. I just love this one. I don't know why. I think because, you know, black goes with everything. So it's just a really nice pen. They've done a couple other sort of black with glitter recently. So you might be wondering why there are two exactly the same. Maybe she has different nibs. No. So the story behind these are from Kobe Nagasawa, and they do like custom versions of Sailor Pro Gear, and they are branded with Nagasawa and pen style on the cap ring, and instead of having the anchor on the end, it's the Kobe ink bottle. So yes, this particular model is known as the Gakuen Tashi, or fresh green. And even the nib is different. Let's see if I can get this to focus. So this nib has the Kobe rooster on it instead of the Sailor branding. And then it does say Sailor at the bottom. So yeah, so the story behind why I have two of these is this is probably my favorite. It's my favorite color. I just really like it. I had been watching it on, I believe Jet Pens had it. And I was just absolutely in love with this pen. And one day because I was, you know, these are expensive pens. And so I finally broke down. It was listed on the Jet Pens website as last one. And I was like, well, darn it, I'm going to have to buy it. So I bought it and became like my everyday pen go-to. Love this for all of the reasons I've mentioned before. And then several years pass and I misplaced it. And I tend to not misplace my pens. I'm pretty good about putting them back where they belong. And I couldn't find it, and I couldn't find it, and I couldn't find it. And I did all the things that you do. I put up a sign in my office at work. Did I leave it on someone's desk? Did I drop it? Did it get left? Like, did it fall out of my pocket when I was getting in my car? Did somebody see it in the parking lot? Like the whole thing. I couldn't find it. And so I discovered that Van Ness had these in stock and had one left. And I was like, God, I'm going to have to buy it, because if I don't, it will be gone and I will never have my pen and I will be so upset. And so I bought it and it arrived and I was very happily writing with it and everything, and pulled a sweater out of my closet. And what was attached to the collar of the sweater? Why, my other Kobe Nagasawa. So, and then I was like, well, I could sell one. And I was like, no, I'm just going to keep them both. It seems like a safe bet, being that it's my favorite, to just have two of them. So I have two of those. So that is my current collection of Sailor Pro Gear Slims. I, at one point, had a mini, and I sold it. It had a zoom nib on it, which was not something I enjoyed. Zoom nibs are odd. They're designed so that depending on what angle you're writing at, you'll get a different line weight. And because I'm left-handed and I'm often writing from weird angles, I was never getting sort of the right nib width when I wanted it. So it just turned out to not be the nib for me. So the nib for me is a hard find. I love it, love it, love it. Oh, the other thing I should mention is that Sailor nibs are what people will refer to as hard as nails. There is no flex and no give and no bounce in their nibs, which I am absolutely fine with. Again, as a lefty, soft nibs with a lot of flex can cause me problems for an everyday writer. I certainly have pens with flex and bounce and that kind of thing, but I use them for very specific purposes. So the last two. So these are both considered Sailor ProColors. You'll notice that the cap bands on these are different. This one is much older and had essentially the aesthetics of a 1911. I'm willing to bet you if you put this next to a 1911, it would look exactly the same. But this was sold with a steel nib. Mostly the ProColors are only sold in Japan. They are not sold in the US. I found both of these, I believe, at pen shows. And this ProColor, you'll notice, is newer. It is exactly the same material as the Starburst Galaxy. So this is the ProColor Starburst Galaxy. And you'll notice it has a different, much more noticeably different cap. Oh, I guess the only other thing is the clips are perfectly smooth, where the Pro Gears have some little engraved lines in the clips. So this one I couldn't resist because it was probably one of the first like completely translucent with glitter sailors that I had ever seen. And I was like, abso-freaking-lutely, I have to have this. And was delighted that I was able to put a converter in here that had a colored twist mechanism so that I can sort of color coordinate. I can just switch out the colors as I want. And what is unique about this one is that I was once again able to swap out the nib on this with a 21 karat gold nib. So normally it would have come with a silver steel nib, but I lucked out and someone had a spare gold finished 21 karat gold nib. So it is essentially the nib that would come with a standard Pro Gear in the body of a ProColor that looks an awful lot like a 1911. So this is the Hodgepodge pen. I absolutely love this. It's one of my favorites. It's almost always inked up. And in my Hobonichi Weeks, which I'm using for my Gamify My Life project, so it's had the same ink color in it all year. I just keep it inked up and ready to go. And then just so that you can see the difference, this is the ProColor steel nib. And it is an okay nib. It's not great. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the steel nibs. This one is better than a lot of them. And for comparison's sake, a ProColor usually sells for somewhere between $60 and $75, where some of the cheaper Sailor steel nib pens can be anywhere from 20 to 40 bucks. So this one's a little bit nicer, but I keep this one more for sentimental value than anything. I love that it matches my other Starburst Galaxy. So that's why I've held on to it. And maybe one day I'll find a gold nib I can put in it, and then it will be amazing. So anyway, there you have it. That is my collection of sailors. I realized that if you have been with me for this whole video, you've probably mentally done the math gymnastics here, and it is a lot of, there's a lot of money here. But this is probably my most expensive collection, and I have pared it back. I have sold probably 5 or 6 that I have had over the years. So I am trying to keep it all slim and trim and pared down. Obviously it's ridiculous for me to have 2 green ones, but hey, that's life for you. But anyway, so while I try to keep my pen spending to a minimum as I can, this is a collection that has basically been growing for probably 10 years. So basically it's been 1 Sailor Pro Gear per year for my collection. So this is why I do recommend to sort of like keep your eye out if you know you have a favorite color, or if something that will catch your eye, hold out to find that particular pen, you know, because Sailor releases so many of these now that there are plenty of options available to you. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be doing more of these collection videos in the future. So thank you, stay tuned, and I'll talk to you again later.